This is just a little clip for people who, you know, are empathic and are sensitive and have dealt with people who are sociopath types. Now, my main problem that I have with the following clip is that I use sociopath and psychopath kind of interchangeably, and I know that there's technically a difference, but the definitions around all this are fuzzy. But the sociopath could be someone who is just socialized to have sociopathic tendencies, whereas, you know, the psychopath, there might be a hardwiring or genetic expression going on. So keep that in mind. And also, I really should have added narcissist to the list, because what I'm really talking about here are just dealing with really toxic people when you're a bit of a bleeding heart yourself, and you're someone who maybe wears their heart on the sleeve. It's very difficult being empathic and being sensitive, and over time I've become really much better at dealing with the boundaries of it. And some of what I'm talking about in the clip is basically how I've come to view it, and what has helped me a bit in my understanding of basically just how to avoid catering to people who are being psychically vampiric. Those type of people are going to play upon the strings, the heartstrings of someone who's, you know, got their heart on their sleeve, so to speak. So if you are someone who's got a bleeding heart and you constantly are empathizing with everybody, and you're constantly looking for victims to rescue, and, you know, if you're that type of person, you're going to be putty in the hands of a psychopath, because you're going to project emotion onto them. And you are going to use your own emotional baggage as a way to tell you that they are having feelings, and you'll think that you're relating to them, when in fact they're not feeling that at all. They are feeling very cold and calculating, and they are watching you, and they are excited that you are fooled by them. Okay, and so how do you get to the point where you can have accurate intuition and empathy and gauge whether or not a person is someone who is genuine, or if they're just a faker and they don't have emotions like you do, and they're out to vampirize you? And a lot of it has to do with sealing your own aura and having your own emotional body in check, meaning that you do not allow your emotions to automatically knee-jerk override your logic. Okay, that your emotions get to the point where they're informing you, and you are allowing them to flow, and you're allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, but you are also observing it. And I'm not saying that, you know, this is easier, it's an overnight process, or that I've mastered it. I'm just pointing out, you know, that if we went in this direction, and that emotional mastery was something that people were developing in our society more, and that people were developing their empathy in order to align it with the intuitive part of the mind, we would actually find that when a psychopath or sociopath came onto the scene, everybody would start to pick up their vibes pretty clearly. And so what I'm really saying is, the reason that the psychopaths and sociopaths are getting away with it in society is because most of society doesn't deal with their own damn baggage. So you understand that if you're constantly seeking outside of yourself for answers, and you're very dependent upon other people, your chances, again, are going to be very strong that you will fall prey to a sociopath. So sometimes what I notice is a lot of people like to project their shadow onto you know, other people, and when the sociopathic tendencies are really coming from the accusers. Okay, so this is never black and white or simple. Yin and yang is not just black and white. The black is in the white, and the white is in the black. You're going to find that sociopaths and psychopaths often have traits that you should really be working on in yourself. And so when they come into your life, you see something that you wish you had in yourself. And certainly online, it can be harder to detect when someone has sociopathic tendencies if they're putting on a nice smile and they're acting all sweet and innocent. Or if they act like they're such a do-gooder. Oh, I'm a truther. Some of these people are really good at what they do, and then the other part of it is oftentimes these sociopath types know that the public has a lot of amnesia and that they forget things really quickly. So 6 months later, they're back at their same shtick, and they've got tons of fans, and oh, nobody remembers that big fat lie they tried to sell that turned out to be bunk. So you know what I'm talking about. And it's not about looking for, it's really easy for the mind to get hooked on looking for the traits and all of the things that a sociopath or a psychopath should be like. I mean, people will go into denial. We like to see the best in people. And so there's just this terrible balance of like wanting to see the best in someone and get to know them or be open to their input. And then the other side of it is we got to be careful about not projecting sociopath or psychopath onto someone just because we see them a certain way. It's very difficult to discern whether or not it's just your opinion and your projection, or there is some real hard evidence that this person is a parasite. But I think with the ability to not only have empathy, but to start having the activation of the non-local mind, you do start to pick up on information that you would not normally have picked up on in just your lower basic reasoning mind. And that information can often be in the form of symbolism, and it can come in all kinds of forms. And sometimes that information doesn't make sense when it first comes in. But it should be taken into account. And I have found the more that I listen to my intuitive higher mind and my gut emotions, the more accurate I am about whether a person is a shit or whether or not they are actually a sweetheart.